It's your boy, neighborhood Nipsey Hussle. Y'all checking out streetgangs.com with my nigga Alex. Y'all know the business. Slauson Ave, all money in, no money out. Hustle.
I'm standing here with Nipsey Hussle, an up-and-coming rapper from South LA. First thing I want to ask you about, you are on the cover of the most recent edition of Allhood publications. Tell me how this happened.
Basically, you know, the owners of that magazine, Allhood Publication, that's some of my homeboys that I grew up with. Big Kev Mac, Lil Shiny Mac, Baby Shiny Mac. And, you know, they doing the publication, they doing a magazine thing right now. So it's only right that they cover me. They've been knowing my movement. They've been knowing my grind since day one, since I was selling CDs on Crenshaw and all that. So, you know, basically they just sat down, interviewed me, got some pictures, and we talked about my whole grind, my whole struggle, and the whole process of coming from being out the trunk on Crenshaw and Slauson with a burnt CD with my name on it to having a major record deal. You know what I'm saying? Album coming out this summer, having mixtapes, streets, and internet on lock right now.
Now, is the album that you got coming out this summer, is that the one, Bullets Ain't Got No Name?
Nah, that's the mixtape series. That's what we giving out to the streets for free. And this is this volume 2 right here. This the second volume, the one you showed earlier was volume 1, and we got one more coming under the Bullets Ain't Got No Name series. And then the album is actually called South Central State of Mind. It's basically a joint venture between 3 companies. It's my company, All Money In, No Money Out. It's Cinematic Records, and it's Uneek Music, and it's being distributed through Sony Columbia.
Now let's back up a little bit. You come up out of the neighborhood 60s. You got a track on your first album, Rollin' 60s for Life. Yeah, a lot of people around the country, they know that there's a lot of gangs in LA, but Rollin' 60s is one of the bigger neighborhoods in LA. It is one of the neighborhoods that has a bigger reputation. Talk about what it's like living in that neighborhood, coming up out of that neighborhood, and what was your life experience like growing up over there?
I mean, you know, what I like to say all the time when they ask questions of that nature, I just be like, you know, I grew up better than some, worse than others. And what I mean by that, like, you know, we had a gang of little obstacles that you know, the environment presented, like gang banging, like the police presence, like the drug scene and all that, you know what I mean? But then again, we had positive shit too, like, you know, older homies I was actually doing something that set a good example for us and laced us to the way to survive out here and you know, how to really stand up and be a man. So as far as experiences, like, you know, we done been through, we done seen the worst of the worst, to going to jail, to losing the homies, to, you know what I'm saying, taking losses in the streets, fist fighting with niggas, getting jumped, getting packed out, like, you know, same shit every real nigga out here is gonna go through. But, you know, it also been a lot of good shit and good times that we experienced growing up in that area. Like, you know, developing the Slauson Boy movement, you know what I'm saying, locking down our area and really, really involving everybody that's focused on doing something positive, that without our presence might have been just strictly dedicated to this gangbanging shit, seeing niggas that was, mentality was once full throttle gangbanging, transition into some business shit and play a part in the movement. That's definitely been a positive aspect of living in the area I grew up in. Right now we got the mixtape finna come out. It's called There Goes the Neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? That's the Slauson Boys' first mixtape. And it's done already. You feel me? It's crazy. It got like 23 records on it. After that, we're gonna drop the solo project. I mean the group project, the debut. We ain't titled it yet, but that's coming out through an independent company, and all of our companies, Uneek Music, All Money In, and Cinematic. And it's gonna be distributed through a company called Razor and Tie. And they just did Devin the Dude last album. They did a gang of like kids stuff. They trying to get in a more like urban project. So Slauson Boy gonna be like the first street urban shit that they do. But yeah, look out for that. That's coming this summer also, like around the same time as my project.
Now, you've been doing a lot of traveling, a couple of tracks on your first volume. You mentioned being in New York, hanging out in Brooklyn, Harlem.
Yeah.
Now, New York got a lot of Bloods. It's not like L.A., where it's mostly Crips and a few Bloods. How have you been received when you go into New York? Everyone knows you represent Rollin' 60s.
I mean, it's all about how you carry yourself. Like, I'm not a disrespectful person. You know what I'm saying? I'm from 60s, but at the same time, I don't step on no niggas' toes or bump a nigga without, you know what I'm saying, excuse me. Like, I'm a stand-up nigga, so everywhere you go, real gonna recognize real, and it's a respect thing first, like, you know. So like I run into a lot of Bloods in New York, like all the Dipset niggas, Jim Jones, whole camp and all that, and other niggas that's not even involved in the industry, but you know, I represent 60 Crip and they represent what they represent, but at the same time, we men first, and you know, as long as it's a respectful encounter, I don't seem to have no problems. I ain't had no run-in. I mean, I had plenty run-ins with quote-unquote enemies or niggas from the other side, but you know, it ain't never been nothing but respect, and niggas kept it 100 to, you know, thus far.
Now, a lot of people who rap the genre that you rap, gangster rap, hood music, whatever you want to call it, from time to time, they're faced with beefs with other rappers from other neighborhoods. Have you been dealt with any of that, or is that something that's going on with your career right now?
I mean, like, number one, I'm not in this rap shit to beef with niggas and bump heads. We came from a lifetime of that. You feel me? So I don't get no street credibility from rapping against a nigga or making diss records. So I'm not never finna pull no publicity stunts. If the day come when I do encounter a nigga that don't sit well with me, or we don't necessarily see eye to eye, or you know what I'm saying, get along, we either gonna go in the back and do our little stuff, or you know what I'm saying, it might escalate further. God willing to never get there, but I wouldn't be the type to entertain my business on a rap record. I already know the police would probably be listening to everything the niggas that really represent the street and came from that element put out. So to me, it'll be ass backwards to go on record dissing niggas and making songs about it. I know it create controversy and not sell records sometimes, but like I said, we come from a lifetime of beef, and I got enough enemies as it is, homie. I'm not stepping into this corporate world to create beef. So what I'm gonna deal with it the day it come. But you know, only thing I ever been known to do is roll through it and roll over it. So you know, we'd probably just leave it at that.
Now, I was watching a video where I saw a Crip named Spider Loke collab with another Blood and collab with a Grape Street, and traditionally those are neighborhoods that don't get along. Yeah. Are you at a point where you willing to collab with someone from a neighborhood that you might not have necessarily saw eye to eye with in the past? Yeah, most definitely. I think it's time for that. You know what I'm saying? With all the up and coming LA artists and LA real niggas in general. Like I got a song with Joe Moses. He from VNG. That's one of our worst enemy hoods. You feel me? That's right around the corner from our area where we grew up and where we control. So, you know what I'm saying? I did that record. I got records with J-Rock. He from Bonnie Hunters. They not real enemies like that with us, but at the same time, they dom moves, we Crips. So I got records with J-Rock. I got a nigga from Hoover hit me. You know what I'm saying? Schoolboy Q, he from Fados Hoover. You know what I'm saying? Them is another one of our traditional enemies in the streets. But, you know, the generation under us gonna follow the example that we set. You know what I'm saying? A lot of the reason that niggas my age and my homeboys is washed up and dead and you know what I'm saying, doing all day is because, you know, the niggas above us set the wrong example. So, you know, I feel like it'd be wrong to do the same thing, you know what I mean, and act like we're gonna carry on a tradition that we all don't actually agree with and don't feel in our heart is what we should carry on to the future. Like, you know, if niggas got personal issues, niggas gonna be men to handle it. But as far as just hating a nigga just because where he grew up and because where his mama pay rent, we trying to get above that and move beyond that. You know what I mean? Now, you didn't mention any A-Trays. Is there any possibility of something like that?
I mean, I'm open to anything, homie. Like, we got a black president. Obama's in office, you feel me? So I would never say never. Like, if it was done under the right circumstances, the right terms, like I said, it's all about respect. So if niggas can sit down and chop it up and get past that and move forward, I'm open to whatever. It's a lot of deaths on both sides, you know what I'm saying, between the A-Trays and between us. But at the same time, like, you know, I'm open to whatever. If it's about moving forward and or people making progress, I'm with that.